Hey players, welcome back to KT Gaming, your source for all things gaming and tech. Today I'm tackling the question on everyone's minds: is upgrading to the iPhone 16 really worth it? I'm using info straight from Apple, Mac Rumors, and other top sources to break this down. Let me jump right into it. With each new iPhone release, Apple promises game-changing features, and the iPhone 16 is in no exception. But in a market where smartphone innovation has slowed, some are questioning whether this upgrade justifies the price tag. Is Apple coasting on brand loyalty, or is the iPhone 16 truly a significant improvement? Let me break this down. The iPhone 16's key features are, for one, the new A18 Bionic chip. Apple claims it's the most powerful chip in a smartphone, but how many people are truly maxing out the capabilities of last year's A17 chip? Is it really necessary for the average user, or is it just marketing hype to justify a higher price point? Always on display for all models, a feature that is nice to have, but hasn't always been a game changer. Some critics argue that this is something Android phones have had for years, so is Apple just catching up rather than innovating? This also has improved battery life. Apple promises longer battery life, but let's be honest, every year they say this. Is it really going to be a noticeable difference? Or is this another example of Apple recycling old promises with minor tweaks? Apple always touts camera upgrades, but is the leap from the iPhone 15's camera system to the iPhone 16 really that significant? Or is this just a slightly polished version of last year's model? One of the biggest controversies around the iPhone 16 is its price. Starting at around $899 USD for the iPhone 16, and going up to $1,500 USD for the Pro Max. This is not a small investment. Does the new chip and camera justify $1,500? Many people question whether the new hardware justifies a steep price hike. How much of this price is for the tech, and how much is for the Apple logo on the back? Are you really getting value for your money, or are you paying a premium price for what amounts to minor yearly improvements? Apple has been long known for its sleek, minimalist designs. But as we've seen from leaks and official sources, the iPhone 16 doesn't deviate too far from the established formula. While the new design may have slightly slimmer bezels and new color options, it's essentially the same iPhone look we've had for the last few years. Is this becoming boring? Some critics say Apple is playing it safe, and that the design is no longer revolutionary. The biggest design change is finally moving to USB-C, years after Android phones adopted the universal standard. Some Apple loyalists feel betrayed, while others argue it was long overdue. This move is both celebrated and criticized depending on where you stand. But was it really Apple's choice, or were they forced by regulations? iOS 18 comes with a slew of new features, but many are saying they're just incremental improvements on what already exists. While iPhone users finally get a bit more customization with widgets and lock screen options, Android users have had these features for years. So is this a case of Apple playing catch-up while packaging it as innovation? Features like the new AirDrop improvements and deeper integration with Apple Watch and AirPods make life within the Apple ecosystem easier. But is this a convenience or a trap? Many critics argue that Apple's strategy is to lock users into their ecosystem, making it harder and harder to leave. One thing Apple does well is offering long-term support for its devices. If you upgrade to the iPhone 16, you are likely to receive software updates for 5 to 6 years, which is better than most Android devices. But here's the kicker. If you already have an iPhone 14 or 15, you're still going to get some of those same software updates for years to come. So is upgrading worth it when your current device can last just as long with iOS updates? Apple touts its eco-friendly initiatives, including the removal of the charger from the box and using recycled materials in the iPhone 16. Yes, this does reduce waste, but some critics argue that it's also a way for Apple to cut costs while still charging premium prices. Is this truly about saving the planet or saving their profit margin? One of the biggest complaints among iPhone users is the lack of significant differences between the various models in the lineup. With each new release, we're seeing fewer and fewer changes that truly set the standard or justify the upgrade, especially for those who already own a recent model. Whether it's the base iPhone 16, the Plus, or the Pro models, fans are frustrated that the core experience remains nearly identical. Sure, the Pro versions might slightly have better cameras or fancier display, Every year it seems Apple introduces one or two standout features. This year's the A18 Bionic chip and the camera enhancements, but beyond that it's the same device with a few tweaks. For example, users on Reddit and forums like Mac Rumors are asking, why should I upgrade to an iPhone 16 when it feels like a reskinned iPhone 15? Even among Pro users there's a growing discontent. The iPhone 16 Pro's key differences like improved Pro Motion display, extra GPU power, or minor design tweaks are nice to haves but not necessarily deal breakers for most people. Some users feel like Apple is simply adding incremental improvements to drive sales without offering real innovation across the board. It feels like the non-Pro models get a watered down experience for a premium price. And let's be honest, aside from USB-C, there aren't many big changes in the iPhone 16 lineup. The transition from the iPhone 15 to the 16 is not like the game-changing leaps that we're used to see years ago. Fans are asking, when will Apple push the envelope again? The lack of daring innovation has led some to say that iPhone lineups are starting to feel stagnant, with some even considering switching to other brands for something truly different. This growing frustration has led many fans to feel like they're paying a lot for very little in return. For some it's more about upgrading out of habit or staying loyal to the brand rather than getting something genuinely new. And that's the heart of the controversy. Is Apple doing enough to set its new phones apart, or are they just banking on their name to sell more of the same? So is it worth upgrading to the iPhone 16? If you're coming from an iPhone 12 or older, the iPhone 16 might feel like a significant upgrade in terms of performance, camera, and features. But if you already own an iPhone 14 and 15, the improvements are far more marginal. The price you pay for all those incremental upgrades might not be worth it, especially if your current device still works perfectly fine. Ultimately, the decision comes down to how much you value the small upgrades and whether you are willing to pay Apple's premium price for them. For some it's a no-brainer, but for others, holding onto their current iPhone for another year might make more sense. Now folks, what do you think? Is upgrading to the iPhone 16 a smart move, or is it just another way for Apple to squeeze more money out of loyal customers? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. And of course guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more updates on all things gaming, Apple, and other tech related topics. Now guys, I have the iPhone 15 and for me right now it is not worth upgrading because you're really getting like $1,500 for like what, only like a new button on the side, new camera upgrades, like nah, longer battery life, come on, it's not really that worth it for us right now. Honestly, I'd say personally if you have the iPhone 15 or the 14 or maybe even the 13, maybe wait it out until like the 17 or 18 for sure. Because Apple loves to bleed us dry for all our money. Just look at the Apple Vision Pro, $4,000? Jeez, that's a car right there. But let me know what you guys think down below. So guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, peace out.